Forget what you learned in school. Never mind what your parents told you, and disregard what your friends say. From now on, the only people you need to listen to are these guys. For the next several minutes, they'll take you on a journey through the political jungle. And when your journey is over and you're safe at home, they promise you'll be stronger, smarter, and just plain better. So buckle up, hang on to your ears, because your journey starts now.
Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
And welcome to At Odds. I'm Brian.
And I'm Nate.
We want to welcome you to another enjoyable journey through the political jungle. We'll join Nate and I, where we're broadcasting from the back room of the Hoot and Howl pub and studio in a large city. What country, Nate?
We're in Armenia.
Armenia.
A place known for their owls.
I love Armenian owls.
Yeah.
Especially with the Armenian fries.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty good.
They have this dish. I actually have it right here. It's deep fried owl wrapped in bacon. After they deep fry the owl, wrap it in bacon, deep fry it again, and then they drop it on the floor. At least that's what I saw the cook do when he made mine.
They picked it up and kind of brushed it off, spit on it, wiped it off a little bit.
It adds a little something to it, though.
Yeah, it's just chewing tobacco.
Yeah, and that was, it's good.
It is good, yeah, especially after some ouzo.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's good. I mean, we're getting good food here. We've got good booze. Today we're going to discuss a lot of things. We're going to talk a little bit about the armed march that's being planned on D.C. I don't know how that's going to go. We're going to look at the results of a poll on whether people think there's going to be another civil war. We're going to talk about some police abuses, the Benghazi boondoggle, zero tolerance in schools, and much, much more. So stay in. Remember, we are live. You can call in at 248-455-ODDS. That's 248-455-6337. Like us on Facebook. Where?
Yeah, Facebook.
On Facebook?
Yeah.
Like
Facebook.com/AtOddsShow.
Or unlike us if you've already liked us.
You can unlike us.
Yeah.
Website is atoddshow.com. You can listen to this show and all of the previous shows that we've done if you want to, and I'm sure you do want to.
Yeah, you can leave comments. We have a contact.
You can email us talk@atoddshow.com.
You can check for upcoming guests, which we have one next week.
Oh, we do.
And
Bob Berg.
Yep, on the Go Giver.
Yeah,
we're going to talk about capitalism.
Free market capitalist. I love it.
And how
I love it.
How when you do good things happen to you. And you can get rich off of that. So he says. We'll talk to him about that next week. We want to remind you that Nate and I are authors of sorts. We wrote a kid's book called My Parents Open Carry. You can get that at myparentsopencarry.com. A great price, and you get an extra book absolutely free. You can't beat that. I do want to say that Nate also has his own show, the Nathan Nephew Show. That's very clever, Nate. How long did it take you to think of that?
I thought about that for hours.
Yeah,
about what to name the show.
I think you did.
Finally, it just came to me.
The first thing was finally without Brian.
Yeah, that was first, and I got some comments, and they were mostly positive comments.
So let's face it. I mean, most people tune into At Odds to listen to you, but now they can go and listen to a half hour of you rant and rave.
Absolutely.
And pontificate about all of the daily events in the world of politics and whatever you feel like.
Yeah, those shows are on nathannephew.com, and it's doing pretty well on Red State Talk Radio broadcasts throughout the week.
It's doing pretty well. It's doing pretty well, is it?
Yes.
Is it doing well?
It is doing well.
What's the name of the show? The Nephew Show?
nathannephew.com, you'll see everything you need there.
All right. Well, let's talk about Benghazi. You know, we talked about that months ago after it happened, and they were trying to sweep that under the rug. There was other things going on. But now, you know, the rats have come home to roost. No? That's a mixed metaphor.
Yeah, it is. It is. Now, I will tell you.
Let's not call them
Brian.
rats. Yeah, what?
I agree with Jay Carney on this one.
Okay.
That, look, Benghazi happened a long time ago.
Yeah, just let's move on.
I mean, look, we're not aware of anybody in the world who saw what happened in Benghazi, and so let's just not talk about it. Look, there were no witnesses at all in Benghazi ever.
Oops.
And it was a video. It was an anti-Muhammad video, obviously, and it happened so long ago. Just come on. Come on, guys. Come on, Ed Henry from Fox News. Leave it alone.
We have bigger fish to fry and more freedoms to take away from the American people. We don't need to be talking about Benghazi. Right. But oops, apparently there are some whistleblowers out there. Mark Thompson intends to testify that Hillary Clinton and a key aide, gosh, I can't talk tonight, and a key aide attempted to cut the State Department's Counterterrorism Bureau out of the chain of planning and reporting in the aftermath of the September 11th attack on the American diplomatic mission in Benghazi, Libya. So, apparently some people have come forward, right? I mean, there's at least 2 or 3 that I'm aware of.
Yeah, they have, and they were going to, they testified today. Last week, a couple weeks ago, Fox News had some
I mean, they didn't mysteriously die before they had to testify?
Surprisingly, they didn't.
Wow. Well,
which
they probably will
makes it makes me question their credibility.
Oh, no, yeah.
I mean,
if they're not worth knocking off.
Yeah, right. I mean,
witnesses.
come on now. Well, no, the one guy that was talking about it was on Fox News, but he did it anonymously. You know, voice altered. His face was blacked out and whatnot.
Did it like on The Simpsons, where they actually show the person's face for a while and then go, "Oh, you're supposed to be blacked out." And, you know,
they might have done that. They've done worse things on Fox News on X than Shepard Smith has his fair shares of. Oops, we accidentally showed that guy shoot himself. So they screw that stuff up a lot. But yeah, I like Fox News. But let's not forget that the first thing that happened with Benghazi was the administration came out. Susan Rice came out. She was on like 4 or 5 morning shows on Sunday saying
let's go
it
back
was
even
a
farther.
video.
The first thing that happened was he was asking for more security and was denied repeatedly.
Yeah, we could go back to where they said, "Hey, we're going to be attacked at some point," and maybe September 11th could be a date that we might want some security.
You know, if you feel like it, maybe.
I mean,
give us some more.
September 11th it's a bit of an important date in this country, and Al Qaeda might know what it's about, and they might do something on that day. So maybe you could give me some more security.
Right,
and they said no. Right.
That was first thing.
After the attack, they came out. Well, and then the SEALs, the people in the area
during
the attack, had to stand down orders. A couple that ended up dying actually, disregarded the order. Said, "No, Americans are dying. We don't leave them.
Yep.
We don't know how long this attack will go on. We don't know who's still alive. We're going to go help." After the attack, they come out valiantly. They did for hours and probably saved a lot of lives. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't there. Maybe some of these witnesses know, but hopefully we'll find out exactly what happened.
Yeah.
After the attack, they blamed it on this video from this nobody that made a video, put it on YouTube, and apparently it offended some people. Obama is the only one I know that it really offended, but
and it was on YouTube for months to almost a year before this, so it wasn't like it was just put out there.
Right. But that's what they blamed it on. And then finally we see that actually the talking points originally I think from the CIA had Al Qaeda and terrorism and things in there, and they took all those words out and just added, that it was a video.
Yeah, the press release was edited.
Yep. It was edited. And then
from the information that
then
they
of
were
course we
getting.
have what difference at this point does it make, Senator Mrs. Clinton coming out saying who cares who died and why they died?
Yeah.
Because Benghazi happened a long time ago.
Well, did you see what Huckabee said? He says that this is going to be. Did I get the right name right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he came out and said that this will be Obama's downfall and he'll resign over this, which there's no way that a megalomaniac like that's going to resign.
Are you kidding me?
He's going to have to be dragged out of office kicking and screaming.
Do you know who already resigned? Hillary Clinton. And she's taking the fall for it.
Well, yeah.
And she probably... Well, here's the thing that we just found out about today or yesterday. She's going to have a tougher time in the primary in in 2016 with Chris Christie.
Right. That's going to be a tough ticket.
It's going to be a tough Democratic primary.
Yep.
Chris Christie, the now Republican
well, he
governor
could be a
of
vice,
New Jersey.
He could be vice president.
He's gearing up for war. Yeah. Did you hear what he did? He had either a gastric bypass or one of those,
he had
the lap band, whatever it was,
lap band. I just
to lose some weight.
Yeah, but not to run for president.
No, of course not for that. It was for his health and things.
Yeah.
And
which that's fine.
Sure. No, it is fine. It's absolutely fine. I'm not joking that I think he'll make a valiant opponent in the Democratic primary, though.
I know you're not joking. It's still funny, though. Do we want to hear from our supreme leader, our chief commander, and our new king?
I mean, honestly, no.
Okay. This is what he was saying at a commencement speech. I'm sure some of you are aware of this, at The Ohio State University, where he basically said, you young people that are now going to go out into the world and be productive members of our society, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Do not believe the stories about losing your civil liberties and the spreading tyranny of the United States government. Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain, or something like that.
Yeah.
This is what he actually said.
Unfortunately, you've grown up hearing voices that incessantly warn of government as nothing more than some separate, sinister entity that's at the root of all our problems. Some of these same voices also do their best to gum up the works. They'll warn that tyranny is always lurking just around the corner. You should reject these voices.
Just reject them.
Because what they suggest is that our brave and creative and unique experiment in self-rule is somehow just a sham with which we can't be trusted. We have never been a people who place all of our faith in government to solve our problems. We shouldn't want to. But we don't think the government is the source of all our problems either. Because we understand that this democracy is ours. And as citizens, we understand that it's not about what America can do for us. It's about what can be done by us together through the hard and frustrating but absolutely necessary work of self-government. And class of 2013, you have to be involved in that process.
All right. Yeah, I mean, really, Brian, what can we do together as a collective group of people? He said something in here, and it reminded me of a quote that I actually have here that we can play for you, when he talked about, there's a notion that the government isn't the solution and the government is the problem. We had a president at one point, and I'll play the clip and let you guess who it was.
Grover Cleveland?
Grover Cleveland. I didn't even play the clip.
No, I didn't.
Who said something that might remind you of what Obama said reminded me of what he said.
By the way, I'm always going to say Grover Cleveland.
It turns
I
out,
love that name.
and it's always correct.
Yeah.
Turns out what he said was the exact opposite. Let's listen to this.
In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
I would argue one of the best presidents this country has ever had.
I don't know about that. I'm still a fan of Grover Cleveland.
I said one of the best. I didn't say the best.
No, but I could tell by your voice you kind of weren't.
FDR was the best president we've ever had.
Yep. I want your gold. $10,000 fine. 10 years in prison.
For those of you too young to remember, that was Ronald Reagan. That was actually his first inaugural address, I believe.
I think it was maybe a speech while he was running, wasn't he? I don't remember.
Well, he had very similar themes because he was a consistent man that stood on principles that didn't really waver much.
So was it his inaugural?
That was his inaugural, okay. But he said very similar things throughout the campaign, and he's right. And that's the exact opposite of what Obama's saying.
The government is the solution, and we're here to help you. And
he says
all your problems.
Those people over there, on the At Odds show that are saying the government is the problem, just reject them.
Don't.
And if you listen to the intro to our show, you'll know that that's not true because we are the only guys you need to listen to.
That's right.
So I don't know where the hell the president's getting his information.
I don't know.
Do you have his address? I might mail him a copy of our show.
Pennsylvania Avenue something.
Is he still living there?
I think he is.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe he'll resign over Benghazi. That would be awesome.
I doubt it. What?
Nothing.
Oh, you're pointing at dials and things, and it
yeah,
confuses
I'm
me.
sorry that
the technology scares me.
We actually have a nice setup now,
There's
and you can see things.
Fire bad.
Now we're going to take a quick break. We have some things to come back with, and I mean, of course, we'll talk about Obama some more, right?
Or the armed revolution.
Sure. Oh boy, 248-455-odds, 248-455-6337.
We'll be back in a minute.
The voice of American conservatism. WRS Digital, Red State Talk Radio.
Fact. U.S. credit card debt is 8 times larger than it was 30 years ago. No wonder you and I are feeling the credit card crunch. You're not alone. Increasing prices and the costs of credit are stretching budgets and preventing people just like us from getting ahead or just catching up with our debts. At American Financial Debt Relief, we can help. We have tested ways to help you get out of debt. Find out how now. The call is free to learn more. If you qualify, we can reduce your interest, show you how to stop your debt from getting larger, and help you get out of debt faster than you can by making minimum payments. So if you're falling behind on your credit cards or medical bills, give us a call right now, where a free 5-minute call can change your life.
800-978-4815. 800-978-4815. Reduce your credit card debt. Call now. 800-978-4815. 800-978-4815.
Real radio for real Americans.
Red State Talk Radio.
What a great party. What's that sign say? DUI, DWI checkpoint ahead, all must stop.
License and registration, please.
Before driving, go to
beforedriving.com.
Check out all the cool stuff for you and your ride at
beforedriving.com.
Of course, you buckle your seatbelt before driving, but first go to
beforedriving.com.
See you at
beforedriving.com.
And together we'll have fun and drive safely.
Obama wants your money, and he's determined to get it. He wants your money to buy off unions, his Wall Street cronies, and to expand the Obama welfare nation. Well, Swiss America is determined to stop him from stealing your money. They want to send you an award-winning film, I Want Your Money, on DVD that exposes his plan. It'll help keep the government's hands off your money using gold, silver, and other hard asset strategies to protect your hard-earned money. Call today and request the DVD, I Want Your Money, normally $19.95, yours absolutely free. Let Swiss America show you how to use gold, silver, and other hard assets to protect your hard-earned money. Call now. 800-932-5146. 800-932-5146. Call Swiss America right now. Learn all about investing in gold. 800-932-5146. 800-932-5146. Call now.
And we're back. This is Brian.
And this is Nate.
And you're listening to At Odds. Hey, we wanted to talk about, I did anyways, you didn't want to necessarily, Fairleigh Dickinson University, I guess, did a public mind poll. They found that 29% of registered voters believed an armed revolution might be necessary in the next few years. They surveyed 863 registered voters and focused on both gun control and the possibility of a need for an armed revolution in the United States to protect liberty. Some of the demographics of the poll were 18% Democrats, 27% were independents, and 44% were Republicans. You know, I think that's pretty high. Almost 30%.
Yeah, I think it's high. I don't
know the methodology.
I don't know that I don't know that I believe the poll necessarily.
Phrased the questions, but phrased them. But I just thought it was high, so I thought I'd bring it up. You don't want to talk about it? That's fine.
No. I didn't say I don't want to talk about it. I mean, it's worth talking about. I disagree with the people who think that it will be necessary in the next few years. I definitely don't think that.
Well, but they do.
Well, sure
That's
they
the
do.
point of the poll.
That's the point of the poll, and I disagree with those people.
I don't know. It would be interesting to see what the background was before. What is the? I mean, there's always some percentage of the population that thinks there should be
10 years ago, what did that poll
Has
look
it
like?
gone up or down or whatever?
I imagine it's gone up because I think
I think it is.
I think
too,
we're getting
and that's
closer.
Why I brought it up.
We're getting closer for sure, but I don't think in the next few years, and I don't think we will get there.
I don't think we will either. But I think it would be an interesting show. What we ought to do sometime is spend 10 minutes and really discuss the possibility of a successful revolution against the United States government and military, and look at some of the strategies that might be used and employed and things like that.
Yeah, we could do that. I mean, because we're not on enough lists already. I think if we did that, we could get on a few more lists.
Well, that brings us into the next thing with this guy, this media guy. I don't know who he is, some internet guy that wants to have a armed, peaceful march into Washington, D.C., where guns are not allowed on the streets. He won't do it unless he gets 10,000 confirmed people. He's got like 1,000 so far signed up.
That is one list that my name is not on, and it won't be. That's idiotic.
Well, I think it is too. I mean, I think sacrificing yourself needlessly.
It's going to do nothing except give ammunition to the left to say, look, gun owners do break the laws. So
and they are nuts. And
when the NRA talks about law-abiding citizens, obviously they're not talking about gun owners because 10,000 of these idiots came to D.C. with guns.
I think the whole thing's a lot of rhetoric, and it's not going to happen, but it makes for interesting press. It gave him a lot of publicity. I don't think it'll happen.
And he needs to be damn sure, or he needs to know damn well, that he will not be treated like that idiot on on NBC.
Oh, yeah.
That had the magazine.
Yeah, the newscaster guy.
When he was talking to Wayne LaPierre.
Yeah, with an illegal magazine.
Yeah,
Williams?
absolutely.
Williams?
Who cares? It doesn't matter what his name is. But, I mean, some of you will get arrested. Some of you will be charged with felonies. Some of you will never be able to legally own a firearm again.
Yeah.
And you'll do nothing for the cause.
Well, this is a scenario that I think will happen. I mean, they're going to walk across on a bridge or something, right? And there's going to be a demarcation point where you're going to enter from Maryland into Washington, D.C., and there's going to be a bunch of police officers and things and military stuff standing in the middle of this bridge, and these guys are going to walk up to it, and they're not going to cross it, and it's going to be a standoff, and there'll be a lot of press and a lot of talking about it. They'll turn around and go back. That's what I think will happen. If it gets to that point.
Best case scenario. Because I think...
best case scenario,
you know what?
Happen,
something similar to that has happened before. Right? And then we had this shot that was heard...
It's familiar.
Around the world.
It's familiar.
Okay? That ended well for the United States of America as it is today.
After 8 long years and countless thousands.
But there was a much higher percentage of the people willing and able to fight than there are now. And like I've said, it is not time for a revolution, an armed revolution of any sort. It's time to be more... like Americans
involved in your politics.
Yeah, absolutely.
Run for
absolutely.
office.
Peaceful, passive resistance sort of thing. Gandhi comes to mind. Much like if you're being raped at the University of Colorado or wherever that was, just vomit.
And urinate.
And you'll be fine.
And some even say poop your pants.
Yeah, they do. They do say that. That's why
Gandhi was not opposed to violence.
That's why and neither am I.
Yeah. So
that's why he's a pretty good example. It's sometimes necessary.
Yeah.
Today it's not.
Yeah. Not at this point. All right. Well, speaking of encroaching federalism, Kansas, the state of, not the band.
Darn.
And your little dog, too.
Well, that's
kind of frightening, isn't it?
All right, Toto.
That's another band.
But that...
Anyway,
get on with it.
They toured together, didn't they? Kansas and Toto.
I hope so. I hope so.
Anyways, well, Kansas, has this nullification of gun arms and stuff. They've come out with this bill, Senate Bill 102, and it's saying, we're not going to let any federal agents come in and arrest anybody on gun charges if the guns are made in Kansas, blah, blah, blah. A lot of states have done this. I don't know why Kansas is getting the publicity, but apparently Eric Holder sent a letter to them saying under the Supremacy Clause, Kansas can't prevent federal employees and officials from carrying out their official duties, and you're not going to do that, and if you do, you'll be arrested. And remember, federal law supersedes this statute and all provisions of federal laws, and they're implementing regulations, therefore continue to apply, blah, 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 blah. Basically, you guys can't do this, nah, we're the federal government. And apparently, that's not quite true, because the Supremacy Clause deals with unconstitutional, or with constitutional laws being the supreme law of the land. And if you do something unconstitutional, then the Supremacy Clause kicks in. Gun control, could be argued, is unconstitutional. Well, anyways, what I liked was that the Kansas AG, you want me to read part of his letter?
Yeah, go ahead.
Basically kind of said, screw you. Part of his letter said, for the past 80 years, Congress has used the interstate commerce power as a conduit for asserting regulatory authority over numerous specific subjects that have nothing to do with interstate commerce, including firearms. That's true. While some federal regulations of firearms are permissible exercises of the interstate commerce powers, others clearly are not. One of the things that the federal government cannot do is regulate firearms that have never traveled in interstate commerce and have no substantial effect on interstate commerce. And anyways, the AG said that he was a constitutional scholar and attorney, and basically told Eric Holder and the feds to bring it on.
What some federal regulations of firearms does he think are permissible?
I don't know. He didn't go into those details. You could argue that
what he did is great, absolutely great. We need more states and sheriffs, and this was a state attorney general standing up to the U.S. attorney general. We need that. Yeah, the whole state represented by the attorney general. Yeah, sure. That's how it's supposed to work. But I'm not so sure that the federal government has much room to regulate firearms
in any way.
I mean, and like he said, they always use the interstate commerce clause, and that's their pipeline to do everything that they want to do ever. Just say, interstate commerce, so you can't walk onto a local school's property with a gun because
1,000
of
feet?
Interstate commerce.
1,000 feet from a school.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. That has been fought before. Sheriff Mack, when they first did the background checks and all that, and the onus was put on the states to do some of these background checks, and he was a sheriff in a county in Arizona, and he said, screw you, you didn't give us any money for this, we're not doing anything. And that went all the way to the Supreme Court, and Mack won. So you can fight back against the federal government.
Yeah, and I'll say for the audience out there, I know most of you know this already.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Don't listen to us because Obama said so, but if you listen to us, you'll know that we're the only ones you should listen to. The sheriff is really where you want to put a lot of your eggs, because they can and should be one of the main lines of defense to protect you from federal agents coming in and doing crap in a county.
And that goes all the way back to, English common law.
Yep. So when you're voting for sheriff, don't think it doesn't matter because they're all just cops.
Wow.
It's important.
Yeah, they have a lot of power, more power than they exercise.
And it is a very political position, too. You're not just hiring another police officer. There's a lot involved there, including your rights at stake and you being protected from the federal government coming in and taking over your city or, Watertown.
And the fact that he's actually elected by the people in the county that he serves as opposed to being appointed by a board or a mayor or something like that.
In theory, he's even more accountable to you.
Right.
To you, and not to the federal
to
government or state government.
Yeah. And I think sheriffs are waking up to that, and I think Richard Mack has been a strong proponent of that. He's got a great book about the powers of the sheriff.
He does. Unfortunately, he's not the sheriff of the Lansing area in Armenia.
No, he's He's not.
So that doesn't do us any good right now.
He might be able to get the waitress to bring us another drink at some point.
Or some more owl.
Owl is
Possibly
good.
some deep-fried, bacon-fried owl.
With the tobacco spit.
Yep, absolutely. We're going to take another quick break. Man, this hour's flying by here.
Is it?
It is.
Really?
I think so. Email us, talkit@outshow.com. Call us. We're live right now Tuesdays, so 248-455-8337, 248-455-ODDS.
Red State Talk Radio.
The idea of government taking over healthcare is enough to make you sick.
The conservative voice.
I will never forget the day my son Jeremy told me he hated me and slammed the door in my face. I'm behavioral therapist Janet Lehman. Behavior problems can turn the child you love and your life into a nightmare. That's why my husband James and I created the Total Transformation, the step-by-step program that shows you how to fix the worst behavior problems and get your child to respect and listen to you again. No matter what the behavior, defiance, backtalk, angry outbursts, disrespect, we can help you stop it. Now you can get the Total Transformation for free. All you need to do is get the program and let us know how it works for you. You can keep it forever for free.
Limited number of free programs available. Call now. 1-800-257-2873. 1-800-257-2873. 1-800-257-2873. That's 1-800-257-2873.
Great shot, Bob. I think you're on.
I just followed your lead.
Hey, by the way, did you break ground on your new building?
No way. I'm holding off until I see what the future holds.
So you're seeing a fortune teller?
You know what I mean. Things look a little uncertain.
The only thing certain in business is if you're not growing, you're losing. Yeah, we just opened our 5th facility last week. If you're following my lead, you'll call General Steel. Their pre-engineered steel buildings could save you as much as half the cost compared to conventional buildings, and they're up in nearly half the time, and back with a 50-year structural warranty.
Yeah, but steel buildings...
Hey, you've seen my building. Does it look like steel?
No, it looks great.
Ask about rebates that could save you up to $20,000. Look, you can stop paying rent and own a building that suits your business better and probably saves you money by operating more efficiently. In times like these, don't stop spending, just spend wisely.
800-398-8309, 800-398-8309, 800-398-8309, 800-398-8309.
Red State Talk Radio.
Why spend more than you have to on your life insurance? Did you know that term life insurance rates have fallen over 60% in the last 15 years? At the Life Insurance Quote Line, we monitor the rates, features, and financial strength of hundreds of life insurance products. For example, a healthy 40-year-old can protect his family with $500,000 of 10-year level term for less than $20 a month. Rates for women are even lower. And don't forget to ask us about the new term life policies that guarantee your money back even if you don't die. Since 1986, we've helped tens of thousands of people just like you save a fortune on their life insurance. Why not find out how much you can save? Write down this number and call today for your free quote. 1 5-minute call is all it takes. Call 800-610-3497. 800-610-3497. That's 800-610-3497. Rates, policy forms, and availability vary by state.
Oh, there was no boom boom again. I thought I missed my cue there.
There was a boom boom.
Oh,
there.
did it? Yeah, I fell asleep for a little bit.
Yeah, you did. You
did. I took a little nap during the break.
I haven't.
Welcome back to you're listening to.
I haven't wanted to bring this up,
yes,
Brian.
Yes.
We do the same thing every time.
Yeah. What's that?
And the last 2 or 3 shows in a row, the second time we've done it in the show, you are like, "Oh, it was different." But it's not.
What are you saying?
So I'm a little worried about you.
CAT scan time?
Yeah, it might be. It might be.
Maybe get the old noodle CAT scan.
Take your little blue pill and... Well, maybe not the blue one.
Not the blue one.
Never mind. No.
Where did that come from?
Go home and...
You're saying I should get my head examined.
Wow. So, moving on.
Speaking of heads, we got our doo-doo head of the week, Washington State Attorney. We had one good
I just want to stop. This is a new segment that we will be doing every week for at least this week.
The at least one time in a row.
First,
I had another name for it, but it got edited by the producer. Washington State Attorney General Bob Ferguson recently demonstrated an anti-gun and anti-veteran position by revoking reciprocity with Florida for concealed weapons and firearm license holders. That's right. The punitive action against gun owners who have Florida licenses to carry concealed weapons was taken because Florida has honored members of the armed forces and veterans. Because in 2012, Florida passed a law that recognizes men and women of our armed services who have served our nation honorably. These are honorably discharged veterans. Most states, as you know, you have to be 21 to get a concealed pistol license. Florida said that if you're an honorably discharged veteran and you're below the age of 21, so from 18 to 21, you can apply and get a concealed pistol license because you've been entrusted to defend our country against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And we want to say thank you. So we're going to allow you to protect yourself and your families, whether you're under 21 or not. And this Florida guy says, we don't like that because we don't do that in our state. So screw you guys. We're going home.
No, Washington State Attorney General. I think your original term fits a bit better than doo-doo head. It was something head, started with a D.
Okay.
These men and women are joining the military right out of high school, nowadays going and fighting in Iraq or Afghanistan for 2, 3, 4 years.
Yeah.
Coming back, and we don't trust them with a firearm? I mean,
right.
Because they're 20 and not 21.
And they can't even buy a handgun from a federal firearms license dealer.
Right.
They have to get one as a gift or buy it from an individual.
Yeah, so that's a hassle
right.
in and of itself. And Florida's allowing them to get a concealed pistol license because they carried firearms and all sorts of other weapons.
Fully automatic ones.
Oh, real assault rifle weapon guns with the collapsible or the sliding stocks that make them even more fully automatic.
The bullet goes farther when you do that.
And this is just part of this whole narrative that our veterans should not be armed because they actually know what they're doing. And we just want to get rid of them.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Yeah. Yeah. The government is the solution. Don't listen to anybody who talks about us encroaching on your freedoms.
There's no tyranny going on. Tyranny?
Tyranny? And you were making fun of that woman.
Yeah.
Karma.
Yeah.
Karma. That was her name, I think,
right
actually. Her name was Karma.
There is no tyranny around here. That's
Tyranny.
all an illusion.
Just reject those voices.
I'm sure he hears voices.
Reject them. He must hear voices.
I have to think so.
Where else would he get the ideas? I mean, besides from Michelle and...
Somebody's whispering in his ear.
Is that what it is?
They're saying, Obama.
I mean, there's...
America.
There's what? There's Farrakhan, there's Bill Ayers, right? There's Zelensky, there's Karl Marx.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all those people.
Stalin. There's a few out
His
there.
father.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
Daddy.
all of those people that, you know, haven't had an influence on this guy, but come on. Really?
So, boo-boo on...
Maybe he's just
Attorney
too close
General
to the
Bob
problem.
Ferguson.
Maybe if he took a step back, he would see the freedoms that he's trying to take away.
Well, I don't think he's ever really... Well, you know, I think he really is a sociopath. I think he is a narcissist. I mean, there's been professional opinions saying the same thing. I mean, professional psychologists and psychiatrists that...
Look at how
say
angry... The only time that he's been passionate about anything, and he was angry, was when he lost on the gun control measures just recently in the Senate.
I don't work in a staff, but I heard he's a real pain in the ass to work for.
Yeah?
That people just... He just throws tantrums and he's pissy and moany and stuff. I mean...
I'd believe
never
it.
worked a day in his life.
I believe it. Unlike Buddy Rich, though, he's not good at his job.
Huh?
I've heard
the
that.
drummer, Buddy
Yeah,
Rich?
I've heard that he was also a jerk to work for.
Oh, yeah,
but he was actually good at what he did.
You know, he was a genius. If you like drummers.
I don't.
No. drummers are... Oh, wait a minute. Don't you play in a band?
No, not anymore.
Aren't you a drummer?
No.
Don't you do the...
Do you see any drums in the studio here
You
in
actually
Armenia?
do... At our intro, that song, you are doing the drumming on that song. We should plug them, too, the Loving Dead. What's the name of that song?
Yeah, hey, thanks, man, for letting us use that for our intro. That's called Extreme Duty.
Yeah, and it's based on a...
On my gun, my Springfield XD, Extreme Duty. Yeah, that song's about my gun and about my willingness to use it to defend my family. So, pretty awesome.
So, really, gun owners are nuts.
Yeah, pretty much,
we
yeah.
are, yeah.
I think so.
Speaking of Tyranny, terrorist label, is my note, is a convenience for the feds. I mean, what is a terrorist? We discussed this on the show last week, I think, and you know, that's a great word because nobody can define it. Or you can define it to mean anything you want. And now you have, 14, 15-year-old girls in school that are called terrorists because they do a chemistry experiment.
Yeah, and we can get to that if you want. I saw this note, and I had been thinking about this, and I think I mentioned it before. I don't think that the label terrorism or calling somebody a terrorist who commits an act of terror is the problem. It's the process and consequences that we put on being labeled as a terrorist.
Well, and the fact that they get they are treated differently in our criminal justice system, and and there's no definition of the term. It can be whatever the government wants it to be. So
right, yeah. Right,
they can use
that's my
it,
point.
Yeah, to take away your rights because terrorists don't have rights.
Because
we're fighting a new war, blah blah blah.
I think in
the name of safety.
An act of terror is pretty easy to define. I think it is defined, and it's
but that's just the thing. I'm terrified when you open carry your gun. Are you a terrorist? You are.
You're psychotic.
No, you're a terrorist.
No, you're psychotic.
No, you
that's
terrorize
the difference.
me.
That's the difference. You have some psychosis in there.
No, I don't think so.
Well, I do.
No.
And
no.
I actually have the medical papers.
So
to
I
prove
don't think
that.
I've been tested. I told you that. My mother had me tested.
That's good.
But no, I disagree with that. I mean, that's the point.
I don't think.
What is an act of terror?
It's an act that causes a much larger scale of destruction or disruption than me carrying my firearm. Yeah, you can call it terrorism if you want, but it's not.
Well, who says?
The dictionary.
No, the dictionary
Statute.
is not the law dictionary, and it's not defined in the statutes of the federal government that
Webster's
wants to
Dictionary
define
of
what
Law.
terrorists are. That's the freaking point.
No, I understand your point, and I was saying the same thing you were. You just apparently, that psychosis that I have the paper right here. It's not the label that's the problem, like all labels. It's the connotation and everything else that we put
How did you get that paper?
Yeah, I told you. It's the process and the consequences and the procedure that we follow when that label is applied.
No, it's how the government uses it. And they can call anybody, us. We are terrorists. We could be terrorists.
Right, and what has it done?
And then,
what has it done?
Sucked away.
Really, what does it matter?
Tortured, lose
our
rights.
Well, that's different. That's my point.
Away.
That's exactly what I'm saying. It's not the label. I can call you a terrorist. I can call you a dummy, which I do all the time. It doesn't mean anything. But if I have a rule that all dummies that come into the studio in Armenia have to drink cat urine, then that's different if I call you a dummy.
What? Is that what I've been drinking?
Yeah, it is, actually, so I hope you like it.
It is yellow.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought it was Mountain Dew.
It
started
That's
out
why I
with a
put it next to the Diet Mountain Dew, because you really can't tell the difference.
Are you saying Diet Mountain Dew tastes like cat pee?
I don't know. I don't know what cat pee tastes like, but Diet Mountain Dew
let's
is
move on from
terrible.
that because we agree, I think.
Yeah, we do agree.
Billboard
that I'm right,
showing natives with guns and saying the government will take care of you just like they did us.
Now that's just racist.
I don't know about that.
How dare you use a Native American Indian
to demonstrate a point of the government abusing certain ethnic groups?
Look, when you order a billboard from a company that does advertising, you should not request something that is historically accurate to be put on the billboard.
Like maybe a copy of the Constitution.
Well, oh, yeah, don't do that. That would be
Or
worse than using Native Americans.
Bill of Rights or the
Yeah.
Gettysburg Address.
No, Native Americans saying, "Hey, it worked for us. Remember the Trail of Tears and the Wounded Knee." That's what I was going for. Yeah,
Well,
that's
Trail of Tears, same thing.
That's exactly what happened. Hey, you Native Americans, Indians, whatever we're calling you at this point, you come turn in your guns.
We'll take care of you.
And then maybe one of you won't understand, and you'll fire a shot, or something will happen, and we'll just slaughter every one of you.
That would never happen in the United States.
And that was the point of the billboard, was it has happened.
Wait a minute, what? That happened? I thought you were using a hypothetical.
Oh, yeah, see, and no, I don't think I was.
Huh.
No, it turns out that actually happened, and it actually happened.
So the United States government has actually killed its own people.
It actually happened to Native Americans, who were the people on the billboard.
Wow. Next you're going to be telling me that they put a bunch of people in concentration camps.
Yeah, maybe. Let me think.
Detainment centers?
Maybe the Japanese. Yeah, Japanese Americans.
Well, they were
That's
just
right.
Japanese Americans, right? So
Well, I wonder what happens when you start putting all these damn hyphens in front of your name, and you want to be identified as something other than American.
How about just American?
How do you not get segregated from the group when you're putting all these, these labels in front of it? You're an American or you're not an American. And if you're an American, not every American is going to be put in any more of a concentration camp than we're already in.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. All right.
There's a theme.
Let's move on.
Yeah, let's take a quick break because I'm getting tired here.
Really?
So, yeah, I know. I told you the hour is flying by, and you didn't think it was.
We got tons of stuff to talk about.
I know, that's good stuff, but this is a good ad. They'll enjoy it.
I don't think they will.
All right. 248-455-ODDS. We'll be right back.
The voice of American conservatism. WRS Digital, Red State Talk Radio.
Hey, Nate.
Yeah, Brian?
You like candy, don't you?
Oh, I love candy.
Well, then you're going to love this site I found. It's Old Time Candy, and they have the kind of candy you ate as a kid.
Oh, really? That's really cool.
Yes, Nate, it is cool. It's the bee's knees and the cat's pajamas. They have candies from the 1920s right up to now. And if you can't decide what you want, you can order various sized decade boxes. They have slow pokes, black cows, wax lips, root beer barrels, fruit stripe gum, atomic fireballs, and the politically incorrect bubblegum cigarettes. They have regional candies you can only get in certain parts of the country, like the Goo Goo Clusters. And they have old-fashioned toys and so much more. If you want a trip to the past, click on the banner on our webpage at www.atoddshow.com. You won't be disappointed.
Real radio for real Americans.
Red State Talk Radio.
Hey, Brian, you like beer.
I do.
And liquor, too.
Oh, I enjoy a wee bit.
And I've definitely seen you drink a glass of wine or two.
Yes? Why are you asking me all this?
Well, I found an excellent online source for all kinds of spirits. It's called Wine Globe. They have a fantastic selection of wines, beers, and liquors, from moderate price selections up to high-end and hard-to-find brands. So, if you're interested in ordering your favorite drink or exotic spirits, they're all located at your fingertips. All you have to do is head over to www.atoddshow.com, click on the Wine Globe banner, and start your search today.
And we're back. Did I get it right that time?
No, you actually didn't.
A little too fast?
You were a little... What he said was, and that's the part you probably missed.
Who said and?
You.
I did?
Yeah.
Oh, you were? Oh, okay. Well, we were talking about terror. Speaking of terrorist labels, Elvis impersonator Kevin Curtis, remember the ricin thingy. He tried to kill President Obama.
I want to
except
point
he
out something
didn't.
important. Let's not forget he was an Elvis impersonator.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I'm just saying.
Wow.
Headline news: Elvis impersonator. Okay. That was the most important thing I heard about that man the entire time he was in custody, was that he was an Elvis impersonator.
And look at all the free publicity he got. He just had to spend a week in jail.
Ooh, so it was a conspiracy.
I think he was.
Wow.
Anyways, apparently, I mean, that's it. They labeled him a terrorist, right?
Lock him up.
So they locked him, they chained him to a chair, they interrogated him for a week, even though they knew they didn't have any evidence, and they were already working on the other guy that they did finally arrest. So they kept this poor guy because I think they discovered an oopsie. We got the wrong guy.
Well, that's part of it, and he has sent less than nice letters to people like Narcissism in Chief.
We're teaching him a lesson.
Yeah.
Payback is a bitch.
If you send us a strongly worded letter, we'll torture you.
But see, that's what pisses me off, because they said prosecutors tried to get a psychiatric evaluation so that they could keep him for up to 6 months. That was denied by a judge, and this was after they knew they were still trying to hold him. And then they said, "Well, we want to request a continuance and postpone the hearing and all of this stuff," even though they knew he wasn't the right guy. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Yeah, there's no tyranny going on. There's no abuses of power in this administration. Pay no attention to that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even really know what to say about this.
We could do thousands and thousands of hours and given examples of these abuses that have happened. Not just with Obama. I mean, it started after 9/11, but
Bush had a huge Patriot Act. He had a huge part in this.
The point is,
it's not isolated.
You can't give up freedoms for security. It just doesn't work in the end. It's not worth it.
It is not, and you'll receive and deserve neither. So,
well, one of the things that may help prevent that is the 3D printed plastic handgun.
The Liberator.
The guy that made the receiver for the AR-15 made and fired almost a fully plastic gun. The only metal piece was the firing pin. He needed something hard to hit the primer. Videotaped it. It did fire. He thinks that he could make it all plastic if he worked on it.
Yeah, I mean the problem is, much like a Glock,
which is
metal detectors wouldn't pick it up.
Yeah. Well, there are. We talked about last week. There are laws that say you can't have a gun that is undetectable by metal detectors and things. So he's thinking, I'll just manufacture these with a piece of metal in them so that they can be detected, and then he would be lawful, and it would be up to the individual who made the gun to, what they want to do with it. But the problem is, within hours of that photo, the Liberator being posted, and Liberator has a historic story to it. That was the name of a small, little, cheaply made pistol that they threw out of airplanes during the Second World War with little parachutes I don't even know if they had parachutes. I think they just thrown them out of airplanes as they flew by. That I think had 9 rounds in it, and it was just a small, little cheap handgun that they were given to the French resistance to fight the Germans. So he named it that. Anyways, Steve Israel, a Democrat from New York, renewed his plea for the passage of the Undetectable Firearms Modernization Act, where he said security checkpoints, background checks, and gun regulations will do little good if criminals can just print plastic firearms at home and bring those firearms through metal detectors. Israel said in a statement, "When I started talking about the issue of plastic firearms months ago, I was told the idea of a plastic gun is science fiction. Now that this technology appears to be upon us, we need to act now to extend the ban on plastic firearms." Well, I don't think you can put the genie back in the bottle, can you? He called the creation of this undetectable firearm stomach churning. Schumer said he believed people could open a gun factory in their garage. They already can, Schumer. No. They already can.
That's terrible. Let's look at what he said here, his quote, where he says, "It will do little good if criminals can print plastic firearms at home. Now, let's see if we pass a law that says that law-abiding citizens can't print plastic guns at home. Will the criminals follow that law, do you think? I think by
they always
definition,
have.
in the past, criminals have followed every single law. Yeah. But criminals nowadays are different. It seems to be like we're getting criminal. We need to ban criminality of things, I think, because criminals are becoming more and more law-breaking people.
We should come up with a name for those people.
Criminal is taken. I don't know if we should go with that one.
Felons? Well, that's...
Yeah, but I mean, what if they just, I don't know.
Misties for misdemeanors?
Yeah, we could do that. Call them misties.
Misties.
I like that.
Thank you. Anyways, Jesus, things not even warm, and they're already trying to ban a technology that just started. All right. Well, we're running out of time. Well, we can save that. Oh, remember the rudely displaying a firearm? That Army Master Sergeant Grissom?
Yes.
Was that?
I remember that. He was very rude about the way he displayed his firearm.
Rudely displaying it. Well, apparently some company gave him, Black Rain Ordnance, gave him an AR-15 because the police still have his AR-15 plus his .45 caliber pistol.
Yeah. Do you know what he took? Or what he was thinking of taking? I'm not sure if he officially
see
did.
that.
And I would have felt a little weird doing this.
The best, highest end one?
No,
he should know.
Worse than that, in my opinion. Honestly, I think it's great that they gave it to him. It gave them publicity. It gave him a firearm. He took a pink splash AR-15.
Okay.
For his wife.
Oh, that's nice.
It is not. I would have felt a little weird doing that.
Why?
Well, I don't know. I mean, of course, the company was doing it because they're a good company and for the publicity, but they were giving him the firearm. What he said is he is sure that he will get his AR-15 back.
Well, yeah, I think that's what he's hoping on, and I think he will. I think he'll be found not guilty if they even go that far.
But I hope him and his wife, and give his son one too. I don't know the laws in Texas about this, but they could rudely display firearms on that same hike.
Think so?
I think they should. Remember, check out adoddshow.com, facebook.com/adoddshow.
Listen to the Nathan Nephew Show if you get a chance.
You could do that if you wanted to.
Remember, I won't be on it.
Yeah. Send us an email. Let us know what you think. Talk@adoddshow.com.
We'll see you next week. Oh, wait a minute. That's your line. Sorry. Go ahead. Say it.
I'm going to start keeping much sharper. Actually, I see my knife collection right there, so that'll be good.
That's not good.
All right.
Why do they let Armenians have knives? That's
I
not
don't know.
good
That
thing.
doesn't make sense, does it? See you next week.
All right. Bye-bye.